Chapter 13, Resurgence of Purpose. Okay, and we save into that slot with our freaking alternating save slot shenanigans that we're doing. Is the plan... Wow, big stretch. I don't know if my microphone picks up when I stretch out and my freaking joints start cracking like that. Why do my elbows do that? The party and crew battle with storm spirits on the high seas, having attracted them with a high volume of adept blood on board. I was like, where even are we? Okay, but now I'm seeing us on like the far right side. This brings them the fortune of meeting Monroe and Iris, two other passengers who find themselves lacking a final destination. The party agrees to let them come along. No one expects the Spanish Inquisition, that their journey will get any easier. They reach ground in Isen's Hope, a harbor town. After leaving his ship preparing his crew to wait for the group, Ford comes along. They set off on the long trek to Chelabons, where the Order of Eternals makes its home. Irving prepares to meet his father. Vesta prepares to petition the Order for aid. And Clifford the big red dog does whatever the hell he does. Yeah, he's here. Or something, I don't know. It's beautiful. I've never seen anything like it. It's ridiculous that you can still see the ocean. Anyone afraid of heights? Anyone spot the ship? Hello, old humpback. Not with these eyes. Perhaps our young sharpshooter might. Oh yeah, I can see it. Not you, Benji. I guess I just can't compete. Still, it's quite a view, isn't it, Irving? Irving? Vesta's been in there for quite some time. Ah, well, I'm sure it's nothing to worry about. There's a lot to catch up on. And there she is at last, not a moment too soon. I'm eager to collect my debts and get back on the seas, you know? I'm afraid you'll have to wait a bit longer. The council won't be meeting until tomorrow. You live to disappoint me, don't you? Irving, the Grand Vicar will see you now. Huh? Oh, of course. Well, this is it. You've waited your whole life for this. No use in waiting any longer. It's just, I never thought this day would come. Certainly not like this. I understand. Feels like every day since we left Brookstead, something completely unbelievable has happened. How could you understand, Garrick? You've always known your father. I still wonder if anyone really knows that man. But regardless, this isn't about me. You're going to be fine, Irving. Just stand up straight, try to make a good impression, all the usual things. And don't keep him waiting. Go on. Well then. Oh, it just immediately happens then. Irving. Hello, Father. Pardon the mess. Vesta's news was troubling to say the least. I'm turning the place upside down for old records. That's alright. Come here, let me get a good look at you.
Son.
Quite the man you've shaped up to be, Irving. A Sildarian, through and through. Hair red as ruby, like your brother's. Though, it seems as Vesta says, you've changed since the incident. In appearance, I mean. I suppose. Do you feel any different? I think so. Especially around the aspects. It's sort of like a nettle on my skin. As if I can feel the energy inside them. Black night. Then it's as I feared. Father, I'm afraid I have worse news still. About Sterling. Yes, we tried to save him. Mayor and Bianca, Lincoln, with the blast. Father, I'm sorry. Sterling. I think somehow I knew, if that's possible. Something in Vesta's voice. If only I'd gotten there sooner, I could have... No, you mustn't blame yourself. Though this news is grave indeed. No doubt this weighs on your heart as much as mine. It does. Even after all this time, it hardly feels real. He was like a father to you, yes. That's all too understandable. That wasn't my intention, Father. He'd find a way to see the good somehow, wouldn't he? He'd say, look, Father, there's one son yet in front of you with plenty to be proud of, and he'd be right. That would have been just like him. Do you think you know what happened, or who he is? This sorcerer who caused the explosion? The Order has its suspicions. We've been following the disappearance of the aspects for some time. All the more reason I'm thankful you and your friends preserved so many. I'm glad you found us. I am too.
Listen.
Look, I know no amount of words can make up for lost time, but I want you to understand. It was a true burden for me to be absent from your childhood years, and so many of your brothers. I understand. I know that's hardly an apology, son, but, well, an apology is something I can't give. Protection of the aspects has fallen to the most capable members of our family for generations. I did my best to explain that to your mother before we wed. Mother always empathized with the importance of your mission. I think I'm beginning to see that firsthand. Yes, well, I find myself wishing its importance were less and less with each day. How is your mother? Fine, I suppose. Though I haven't seen her since I left Brookstead. You know, Irving, I was hoping to spare you the burdens of this life, but it seems destiny's brought you right into the thick of it. I want to know what it will ask of me. I want to be ready for it, not like I was on the battlefield. Do not hold that day against yourself. That's a burden no heart can bear. No matter how strong you've become, you're still young. You're giving everything you can. Everything I have isn't always going to be enough. I keep giving it because it's all I've ever known, but I can't understand how I'm supposed to keep going. Gods, I have to believe most would have cracked under this much pressure at your age. You've grown into a warrior well before most. I suppose it's in our blood. Son, for what little it's worth, I'm proud to be your father. I hope that my blood can have had some say in the man you've become, but to do it all alone, you should be proud. Listen, I've arranged quarters for you and your companions in the city. Go and get some rest. We all have a long day of proceedings tomorrow. Thank you, Father. And Irving, I can't tell you how much it lifts my spirits in these grim days to finally meet you. You truly are the kind of son that would make any father proud. I'm glad of it, Father. I'll see you in the morning. Another cutscene. I thought it was going to go into the menu from there, but I guess not. Members of the Third Circle and friends of the Order of Eternals, I thank you for gathering here on such short notice. There's much to discuss, so I suggest we begin immediately. The first topic. Is Fortnite overrated? I mean, one of our own, Vesta of the Fourth Circle, brings disturbing testimony from Etlin. Counselors and friends, just weeks after receiving word from Crooked Spire about the disappearance of the Aspects, my temple was attacked by a powerful necromancer. In all the years that I've kept the temple, I've never seen such magic as this. For this reason, I expect him to be in possession of at least 2 eternal aspects, possibly more. He was capable of phasing large distances and raising innumerable dead. I was completely overwhelmed. Were it not for the arrival of my new companions, we would likely no longer be in possession of the aspects which I swore to protect with my life. And who are these companions? Friends, both old and new. Once we had routed the necromancer, they shared with me that they too had encountered a similar figure in a derelict noble manor in northern Etlin. There, it seems he was pursuing an heirloom in the Dreckenwild family, an aspect that perhaps had slipped through our requisition efforts. Nonsense. Counselor, not now. What's more, they informed me they were themselves aware of several sites thought to contain aspects which were recently looted, and were in possession of a handful of aspects themselves. It was then that I elected to bring them here, for their safety, protection of their aspects, and those which I kept at the Temple of Fane. What folly! Allow me to summarize. This priestess gets word of missing aspects and feats of sorcery too powerful for one man alone. She then just happens to meet a rogue of group... gosh darn it, I can't words. She then just happens to meet a rogue group of aspect wielders and decides to hand over her trove and lead them directly to us. I believe we have found our culprits, Grand Vicar, open and shut. I'll remind the good counselor that my son is among this group of rogues he speaks of. If I might interrupt, sir, my name is Maeve Leveron. I address this body on behalf of the Mystic Council. We believe these events may be connected to the disappearance of the Prodigy. He has eluded our observation now for quite some time. The Prodigy? A talented student from Cosmere University, with an unprecedented propensity for magic. Perhaps he is capable of such sorcery. That troublesome expel from Cosmere. What would he want with aspects? I doubt he read enough to ever learn of them. Enough. Counselor, you will hold your tongue while testimony is given. Vesta, do you trust these companions of yours? Yes, Grand Vicar. I trust them with my life. They have preserved it on more than one occasion, and at great risk to their own lives. And you believe they are sincere in their account? Entirely. Well, one thing is clear. Whoever is collecting these aspects has sinister intentions, and must be apprehended before they can inflict further damage. And we are to believe these ones had no hand in this mischief based on the testimony of one priestess. Vesta is an esteemed ranking member of the Fourth Circle and entitled to every honor therein. But no, our fate will not rest on her testimony alone. If her word is true, then the quest I will give will surely empower them to find and defeat the threat we face. But if her word is false, this quest will destroy them. You speak of the trial of the soul, sir? Yes. The Temple of Koalis Sumash has been lost for millennia. I must admit I'm surprised, sir. Even the Arch-Mystic does not know of its location. Nor do I. But I do know where this knowledge resides. Vesta, you will take your companions to the ruins of the Temple of... what the hell? Prelek in the Towering Weld. There you will find a compass of sorts. It will guide you to the Temple of Koali Sumash. If you then pass the soul trial, you need not return here. You will discover all that we can offer you in your quest to find and defeat this menace, though your triumph against him I cannot guarantee. What should we expect to find in the ruins? Resistance. Acquiring the compass was not intended to be easy, and you should proceed through the Towering Weld with care. I had like a weird semi-hiccup thing for a second. One of my scribes will provide you with our most recent chartings of the forest, but the Sylvan tribes that inhabit it are as nomadic as they are lethal. There's no telling where they'll crop up one day to the next. I would also like to join them, sir. If I might, the Mystic Council is quite concerned about these incidents. I was just about to suggest something of the like. Depart with them. I will write to your superiors in the morning. Will you take your warden with you? She will. Well, it seems we are decided then. If that's the case, I'd consider us adjourned. Indeed. Investa, I cannot make this warning to you and your companions too strongly. The device you seek in the ruins is of great power, and may be of great use to you, but it is quite dangerous. Trust it no more than you would a snake in a wicker basket. As you will, sir. Good. Son, I give you and your friends my blessing. Go and make your preparations quickly. Time is not on our side. I was about to say, was Irving part of that meeting? I guess he was just like generally speaking there. Okay, so we have some more new units here, it seems like. And another ranger we got going on here. So, I do like how there is like the enter promote thing above now. So, I guess checking your actual stats would be more important in the actual class that you're going into. So let's see here. Diplomatic immunity. Defeating an enemy grants plus 30% dodge for 1 turn. Oh, does that mean that you should be another dodge tank like this? Maybe. So yeah, there's the increasing crit and accuracy bonus from dexterity. Crit modifier increased by 50% and freaking that thingamabob increased by 25%. Only one adjacent unit. And then there's this. Second attack and a double deals plus 25% damage and halves the effective weapon weight. So that's, I guess this is all about doubling is what that mostly is, rather than being like dodge tanky per se. I don't think I've gotten a single archer in this army yet. I think all of our rangers we've promoted into other things. So like maybe we'll go with this is what I'm thinking. Could increase per adjacent allies and accuracy from dexterity. I mean, is your dexterity good? Your dexterity's alright. We can make do with it. I mean, oh yeah, your defenses though kind of suck. But I could do with an archer. I could do with an archer though. I mean, is there anything that this specifically plays towards? Well, I mean, we could try dodge tank shenanigans, but like, your speed is high. Oh, your speed is up there, so maybe this should be another, like, doubling build. Because your speed is definitely, well, especially up there if we go into that. Like 85% in speed. It's not quite like Kai says 90% in speed, but it's only a difference of 5%. Is already pretty darn good, you know? So, yeah, that might just be what we do, actually. Sure, we're getting another Strider. Is what we're doing. And then meanwhile, we have your friendo here. Ancient Blood can't take over 30% of max HP in 1 hit. Oh, so it's probably fine if we put you into like a glass cannon kind of thing. Is what I'm interpreting here. So there's the Gale. It's like the... probably going to be doing some more damage sometimes and hit again and yada yada. All that stuff. You're not half bad at magic no matter what you're in, but I think that might just be like this line in general. 80 and 80, huh? Like 35, 35. So you probably are meant to be a glass cannon who can afford to be a glass cannon because you can't take over 30% of HP in 1 hit. So we don't have a Gale yet. We have all these other ones, but we don't yet have a Gale. So I think we might just go with a Gale. Is what's going on here. Sure, Gale it is. And Gale it is in that case. Team Gale or Team PETA or whatever the heck his name was. I don't know. I haven't freaking read Hunger Games in 3,000 years. Alright, well. The Lanel. I have no idea how it's pronounced in Maeve. Huh. So are we gonna have more dodge tanks, maybe? Things are getting spicy here. Our party's getting spicier. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of units in this game. It definitely does hand you a lot, doesn't it now? Hey, barmaid girl. Who do you think you are? The name is Sia. I know, it seemed like an easier way to get your attention quickly. It worked. What do you want? I've been wanting to ask you about Duskwater. I don't think I ever mentioned Duskwater. Yeah, I asked Bianca. Of course you did. What do you want to know? Honestly, anything you're willing to tell me. I grew up with nothing at all. I was an orphan, and were the coins flipped different? I may have starved in the desert. Jeez, that's awful. Yeah, but that isn't the point. There was no period at the end of that last sentence, but I guess that's something that could be. I could probably freaking... I was going through the game's files to see if I could find, like, if I could find the models for the sake of, like, slapping on thumbnails and, like, the backgrounds and such, and I couldn't find them, unfortunately. But I did find the folder that has TXTs of every support, is the thing, of every bond. I did find that. And I found the font that this game's text uses, and I used that for, like, the numbers in the thumbnail of these episodes and whatnot. So the number in the bottom left is, like, the same font and whatnot. So I was at least able to find that, but man, as I would very much like to find these backgrounds and models to, like, slap them onto thumbnails, because those would make, like, much better thumbnails. But unless I have a place where I can, like, yoink these models, there's no way I can freaking do that, you know? So that sucks. So considering I know where those TXTs are, for my game specifically, I could probably add a period to that one sentence, but who cares? Who cares? Yeah, but that isn't the point. I was sold this idea that Aramorans and Delians are so different. That was what got me into fighting. I'm starting to see that there really isn't much different between us. Black Abyss, I mean, our two towns would be in the same kingdom if you just moved them both up 100 miles. Guess that's true. I don't know. I never thought much about Aramor. I was surprisingly busy with helping my parents run the inn. What was it called? The Doddering Bandit. Sorta dumb, but it stuck. Check 1 for similarities. Inn names are ridiculous in Aramor too. Although, I think it's like that everywhere. How could it not be? No one wants to stay at some dreary place. It should be lively. Fair point. Let's see, what to even ask about. I know this may seem strange to you, but I genuinely never learned anything positive about Delians. Hate to say it, but it sounds like you barely learned much either way if what you were told was intended to spur you into violence. Fair point again. Sorry to start this conversation this way. I've just been set in my ways a pretty long time now. It's in my nature to love, not to fight. I don't know how I got all caught up. Something you see, serving a town that knows its share of mercenaries. Fighting is an easy thing to get into. Easiest thing in the world, really. Getting out, that's hard. You managed to stuff a lot of wisdom in a little barmaid. Yeah, I've seen more heartbreak and ruin than I care to think about. Even now, you've jumped from fighting to fighting. At least now there's a cause. Well, we think that now. Everyone fighting does. We won't know whether there really was until it's too late. Now that's freaking wise words there, Jeebus. That's absolutely some wise words. Phew, you don't mess around. Catch your breath. You're not ready to learn how to fight to the brink of exhaustion. We need to master the fundamentals first. You fight with your mind. That is good, but we need to master your instinct first. I like to be in control of my actions. I'm more of a freaking Pokemon Go Mystic team myself. I like to be in control of my actions, thanks. Then you'll like to be dead. Sometimes a blade must be faster than the mind. Instinct is an incredibly powerful ally, but it is also dangerous. How so? It's hard to describe. Just take this at face value. You'll be a better fighter if you learn to separate your instinct and your thoughts. Control of both is essential. That's confusing, but I trust you. Good. Sounds like we may be getting somewhere after all. So, when you come at me from the left like that, it makes sense for me to twist and dodge back. That is correct. But in the moment when we were sparring, my first instinct was to lean in, pass the blow, and strike. A dangerous maneuver, but one that would have won you the fight and left you unharmed. I see what you're saying with the danger. How do you learn to make these decisions so quickly? There's a fine line between self-preservation and losing your edge. Fighting is about being dynamic. Yes, that's all well and good. How do you learn to make these decisions so quickly? I don't know, Sia. I don't have an answer. I'm hoping if we drill it into you and you gain enough experience, it will come. That is how it happened for me. Seems like a risky proposition to me. Little value can be found in places devoid of risk. When did you become the wordy philosopher? When you're the only one around to hear me. Hey, that almost sounds like you consider us friends. But yeah, oh, that might be a super late follow-up there, Anima. If you're still around and seeing that, but it might be a super late follow-up as well. What's up, City Slicker? City Slicker, charming. Did they teach you any larger words out in wherever you're from? Nope, I'm as dumb as a doorknob and uneducated to boot. I slept in the barn with the piggies as a girl. That's appalling. I don't feel the need to know any of this. Wait, it gets worse. My ma and pa, well, they don't read too good. My best friend in the world was a cow. I see you're just toying with me then. Don't. I haven't the patience today. Maybe don't be such a jackass when someone takes genuine interest in how you're doing. How am I supposed to decipher sincerity out of your barnyard insult? It's not an insult, Monroe. Some people call each other names endearingly. I call Carvia Boosted all the time. I would think in all your fancy education you might have noticed that. I'm fully aware of that. The name came across as personally offensive to me, as if I don't understand the countryside because I'm stuck in the city, as if such a thing were possible. Oh, so you do understand the country? I've read plenty on it. To preside over one's peasants well, one must be versed in their ways. Peasants. Jeez, Monroe. How many chances do you want me to give you?
Absurd.
I don't want you to give me anything. I want you to go away. Fine. Well, not the best of starts there, huh? It seems like. Hey, you really seem to know what you're doing out there. Glad someone thinks so. Well, if you don't, you're sure fooling us. I just feel like I should know how to control my powers by now. But it's a process, I guess. Always is. You think Arima became the champion of Oasis overnight? Sometimes it seems more likely. Than you learning to control your powers? Pfft, I say you're well on your way, Iris. If you hadn't told me, I never would have even guessed there was an issue. I appreciate you saying that, Caius. You know, sometimes I feel the way you do. Really. I think if everyone knew how much of my success was due to luck rather than skill, they'd lose all respect for me. Why are you laughing? Because that's ridiculous. You shoot with the eye of a hawk and you rush into dangerous places to keep others out of trouble. Your arrows have probably spared me more strikes than I can count. Now, see what you just did? You focused on my gifts and accomplishments, and encouraged me to do the same. And it worked. Helped me feel more confident. Now, hopefully it won't get to my head. But all you need to do is believe that same thing yourself. But it's different for me. Is it? Yes. It's always so much easier to see your own flaws. That's true for all of us. Only mine haven't changed. They're the same year after year. Don't worry, you'll have new challenges ahead. If there's anything life can guarantee, it's that. It's not exactly comforting. Look, when you first discovered you were an adept, could you blast people with your abilities? Not intentionally.
Relax.
And now you can. See? It just takes time, Iris. I guess what I'm trying to say is, be patient with yourself. It'll be worth it in the end.
You say so.
Thanks, Caius. I'll try. Looks like we have one with Bianca here as well. So all that time doing Darius's dirty work, but you drew the line at civilian casualties. I'm not falling for this again, Bianca.
Now what?
Caius, who am I gonna tell? I bet Varric would be just as happy to get his hands on either of us. Oh, well, I know what I know, and you don't.
Cute.
Gods, it's so funny when you get all cloak and dagger like that. Never would have pegged you for it in a million years.
Seriously?
Should consider the possibility that you don't know me as well as you think. What do you think I'm trying to do here? You gotta at least give me the chance. Come on, Caius. Alright, yes. I had lines I would not cross. All that time doing Darius's dirty work, and they never asked me to intentionally harm non-combatants. I'm sure you had lines of your own. Wouldn't have thought to draw at them, really. Not before Varric started conscripting the academies. Fortunately, Link and I weren't at Alaris, though officially no Delians were. I think we all know how trustworthy the official records are. Yes, we do. Anyway, eventually I realized, whatever lines I drew, it was only a matter of time before Varric asked us to cross them. Never really thought it through past that. And I'm glad you never had to face that choice. Me too. I don't know how you live with something like that. I heard not a single soul survived Alaris.
Well,
I knew of at least one. A woman, Marana was her name. We became friends in the lull. But she didn't defect with you? No, she held her ground. Hard to blame her, really, after everything she must have seen. She has an excuse, yes, but not a justification. If I ever see her again, I hope to remind her of that. Sounds like you were close. For what it's worth, I hope you do see her again. I hope you survive it too. Yes, no guarantee of that. She is a fighter,
Definitely.
and so are you. We all are. Most importantly, we actually believe in what we're fighting for. Exactly. Maybe that's my new line. Never fighting for something again that I don't believe in. We'd all do well to live by that. So I guess that's all of Caius's ones there. We have one over here. Irving, how are you feeling? It wouldn't be right to complain, but you want to. Let's just say I can still remember a time in my life my whole body wasn't sore, though only very distantly now. That was freaking me when I was stuck in physiotherapy for half a year for my injuries. That sucked. And I might, like, I'm not, because of the whole COVID times easing up, I'm not exactly super physically active nowadays, but I hope to be again in the near future. So we'll see if my injuries act up and come back again, and if I'm gonna have to go back to physio. I hope not, but we'll see. Because when I was in physio, I was like, man, remember the days I didn't have to go in for like weekly or bi-weekly IMS, freaking getting needled on a regular basis? That sucked. I think I know just a spell for that. Please, Myron, don't bother. I just need to rest. Stubborn as always. How did it go? Your talk with your father? As well as can be expected. I'm sure he was devastated by the news. I have a feeling Vesta may have softened the blow a bit, but yes, I have no doubt that he was. How did he react? He was strong, as I'm sure he was always trained to be. A man in his position is never far from loss. Still, I'm sure this was uniquely painful. With Sterling, he lost more than a son. I think he... Sorry, Irving. I wasn't trying to bring all that back up again.
Sterling.
No, that's alright. I need to say this. My father felt he lost a piece of himself too, when my brother died. At least, he felt that way. I think anyone whose life remotely intersected with his would say the same. I know I would. He always considered you a trusted friend, and I was always honored by that, just as I was honored to be at his side in the end. I know you did everything you could, Marin. I hope you don't blame yourself. Don't worry, I don't. That's one of the first lessons you learn as a healer. The easy way or the hard way. Then perhaps that's a lesson you can teach the rest of us. If I can, I will. Looks like we have a bond here. I must admit, I wasn't sure I'd see you again. You did tell me to return if anything went awry. I don't actually know how it's pronounced myself. I suppose I just didn't expect the mighty Aurima to need my help. Theron knows I needed it before. Yes, and now it seems I need yours. Fate settles all mortal debts. A wise woman once told me that. Not wise enough. This business with the aspects. I wish I had more to tell you than I've told the others. There's no need to. You're serving your order faithfully. That's what matters. Perhaps. And what about you? Well, what about me? Why are you here? With the group, I mean. Instead of back in your den. Tired of competition? Oh, I'm not sure I'd ever say that. Just looking for something new. Well, whatever you seek, I pray you'll find it. Do you really? Every morning and night. Ever since you first left the temple, in fact. Thank you, Vesta. I look forward to the day the gods give their answer. Perhaps they already have. I'm told they do that. From time to time. Every once in a while, here and there. Alright, looks like we have one here as well. Carrick, I'm still a bit worried about Irving. You've spoken to him recently, haven't you? I must have made an oath to never... Wait, I must have made an oath once to never let him go a day without my pestering. So yes, we've spoken. And while I can't imagine what he's going through is easy, I think I'm a lot less concerned than you are. That doesn't mean you're right to be. Oof, as cutting as your words are, they probably are... There probably are true? Is that a typo? That's... Yeah, that's gotta be a typo there. That's what gives them their sting. Well, regardless, given the circumstances, he seems to be doing alright. That's good to hear. I just wish there was something we could do for him. Is it just me, or are like the character sounds during this bond like mistimed? Like there was a bit where like Garrick made a Marin sound, and Marin just went ugh, like with Garrick's voice. Yeah, they're mistimed. They are not lined up in this support. So there's that. There always is. And I think we're doing it to the best of our admittedly deficient abilities. I know, but it's just so hard to know what to do. On one hand, I don't want to bother him or remind him about his loss too much, but I also don't want him to think I don't care. The difference between you and me is that I don't mind annoying him. I'm quite certain I've been doing that all my life.
Really something.
Yep, they're mistimed. They're definitely out of sync there. You can add me to that list of certain people too. Glad to have your vote of confidence. Can you try to be serious for a moment? Are you sure you want that? I don't know that you've ever seen what that looks like. Carrick. Yeah, they're mistimed. Fine. Look, I think it's better to err on the side of too much attention. If he needs space, he can tell us. Besides, he bears the loss of his brother, while at most we bear the loss of a friend. That's got to feel lonely enough without us adding to it. You know, Garrick, I think you actually gave some sound advice there. Yeah, well, don't get used to it. I think I just might like serious Garrick. Sounds like what you really like is setting yourself up for disappointment. Well, that Garrick has another one here. With Benji, I guess, interestingly enough. I always wanted to climb a mountain. And now look at you. You're absolutely tearing through your bucket list. Smart.
Right.
You bet. Life's too short to waste time. And even shorter for some. Exactly. Escarnes was a pretty good climb too, now that I think about it. It was, and the view was well worth it. Views are temporary. Gains are forever. Assuming you can retain them, of course. Benji Bestanclas. A legendary warrior abundant in both physical strength and proverbial wisdom. Benji Bestanclas Jr. Ah, so you take your father's name. Proudly, too. That must get terribly confusing. Not really. Whenever he says Benji, I know he's referring to me. And what about when you say it? Well, don't think about that too hard, Benji. Life is short, remember? That's right. Well, let's see this one here. Funny, I've been waiting for an apology, and yet here we stand. No one apologizing. Strange. Very cute, Sloane. I don't mind you being rude, or even comparing me to people I've never met that I'm sure you have a low opinion of. I do mind you waltzing around thinking you know me. You don't.
Fine.
Prove it, then. Prove I don't know you. How do you suggest I go about doing that? Give up on trying to get all your money and power back. You don't need it to be happy.
That's cute.
Brooke, do you realize how silly that sounds coming from someone who kills people to acquire money and power? I do realize that, actually. That's a fun thing about all this. I don't need to be a hypocrite to be right. You are simply impossible. You wouldn't understand what it's like to have everything, all your life, and then have it taken away. Nope, I wouldn't. What I do understand is that I've seen countless heirs and heiresses dedicate their lives just to getting back to where they were as a kid. It's sickening to watch. I think you can be better than that. Oh, so now you're my biggest supporter. Pick a side, woman. How long is it going to take for you to understand that there are no sides? I don't need this, but you might. Excuse me if I don't believe that your motives are so pristine. You're excused. Well, what have we here? One with Monroe? Monroe, it's nice to finally meet you. Why? It's good to see a familiar face. Makes me nostalgic for home. Familiar face? I haven't the slightest clue who you are.
Huh?
What? We lived in the same district for 10 years. I saw you around all the time. Not pleasant to think I had stalkers in Soyern, though perhaps unsurprising. Stalker? You bought dyes from my parents' shop at least 100 times. Ah, you're the dyer's brat. I don't recall ever entering the shop myself. Alright, your servant bought from the shop 100 times. You mean to tell me you never even came in?
Naturally.
I can't imagine why I would want to. Thanks. You know, I've heard quite a few stories about you. Oh, good. Back to the stalker bit. Funny, we've only been speaking a moment and it's already getting old.
No.
I wasn't stalking you. Half the nobles in Soyern came through my parents' shop. I heard all sorts of things. Well, then I'd imagine you would have heard I don't endeavor to spend my time with commoners. I have. I'd hoped the rumors were overplayed in that regard. Hardly. I stoked those rumors myself. Why?
Is that all?
If you have to ask, you wouldn't understand. May I be on my way, or will you follow me and watch? Bleh. May I be on my way, or will you follow me and watch from the shadows?
Definitely.
Fine, be on your way. I guess I was wrong thinking you'd want to hear what Joyce Valtira had to say about you.
Explain.
Joyce, tell me now. We're a long way from Sawyer and Valburin. Maybe ask nicely and I'll tell you. You've wasted more than enough of my time already. Wow, what a jerk, huh? Well, what's he gonna think about this, huh? Sophia, can you play catch with your ferrets somewhere else? I'm trying to concentrate. Oh, on what? A spell? As it so happens. What's it do?
Naturally.
It turns all ferrets into a 12-foot radius, into ash and dust. You're joking, right? Willing to take that chance. Come on, Butter, let's get out of here. And Sophia, for what it's worth, I don't think he appreciates being launched into the air. Of course he does. Look, he's smiling ear to ear.
Absurd.
He's certainly baring his teeth, but I wouldn't take that as a good sign. Besides, he's a ferret, not a flying squirrel. There are squirrels that can fly? Well, I suppose they more jump, really. Weird. They should have called them jumping squirrels. If I ever meet one who named them, I'd let them know. Sounds good. Or ever meet the one who named them, sorry. It was good to see you get on the boat. Familiar faces are few and far between right now.
Explain.
What in the world are you doing with these people? You heard that my father disowned me and I dropped off the map, I presume. Of course. Where were you? Captured by bandits, funnily enough. Irving and others rescued us. Us. Sophia is the dearest friend I've ever had, though I'd appreciate you not telling her that. Her family took me in after my exile, fed me, clothed me. In peasant garb, I'm sure. I'd love to see what that looked like. I'm sure you would, you fiend. Either way, we stuck with them. I have no place in Soyern, and there are other reasons to stick around. What happened to the wastes? Last I heard, your traveling companions wiped out both with the Aramoran and Delian armies and killed the commander. Keep your voice down. Sterling's little brother is on board. He had to watch him die. He now has to carry the guilt that a whole kingdom thinks he was the one to kill them. That's awful. From what I'd heard, Sterling was a good man. Yes, and so is his brother. Monroe, I know you have no real purpose in Varroa, so I won't pry. I think you should join us. I can't explain why unless you promise to stay with the group.
Naturally.
Alright, Valmyron. I've known you a long time. I've never known you to care for anything at all. You have my curiosity. Well, looks like we have another one here. Timing, Sophia. You really could work on your timing. What? Is this about what I said on the boat? I wish it were only about that. Look, all I'm saying is, everywhere we go, people think we've showed up just in time to solve their problems. For free, too. How does that work? It's like we've got big signs around our necks that say free help. In fairness, I would like to think we look somewhat formidable. Shouldn't that scare people? The wrong people. It doesn't seem to work that way. Maybe I'm just too cute. I wouldn't be too sure. Perhaps it's the ferret. Have you thought about ditching it? I saw a nice patch of wood not too far. Sloane! Oh, you're terrible. You didn't hear that, did you, Butter? No, you don't speak mean. Ah, you are so predictable it hurts. At least I'm consistent, and nice to harmless little animals. That's one way of looking at it. But I'm not sure any of your enemies would call Butter harmless. Well then, you better not become one. I'm shaking in my boots. You're not wearing boots. No, Sophia. Technically, I'm not. How do you get around in those things anyway? Very carefully. Gracefully, too, I hope. Yeah, keep hoping. Well, I guess that's all of our supports for now. Yeah, so it definitely seems like the amount of characters you get in this game certainly racks up. It certainly adds up rather fast, doesn't it? Let's go ahead and check some stuff here for our new units. So, yeah, your strength and magic is definitely up there. Defense and fortitude are pretty average. They're not anything like too crazy, is the thing. I'm pretty sure with your growth rates, though, yeah, you're basically going to be like a glass cannon, is what it's seeming like. Oh, and you come with an aspect. Kills grant 2% power until end it. Oh. Oh, give me this. Give to me. Do you have a thing? If doubling second attack. Ooh, give to me. Oh. Counter attack damage increased by 25%. Oh, no. If doubling second attack deals 25% increased damage. Oh, yes. What was that other one? Kills grant 2% power until end of chapter. Orima! Half of mastery is added to accuracy. So you're telling me that now, every time he gets a kill, his power is gonna go up by 6%? Oh. Oh. I'm kind of glad I put him into Blaze. But now, who wants to counterattack damage? Who am I often putting into the fray? I know I'm doing that with Sia. Dodge increased by 30% of strength. Yeah, you're gonna want that. Who's someone that I'm putting in the fray? It's usually my dodge tanks. I know I put Alden in there sometimes, but like power increased by 50% each weapon stat. That's always nice. Advanced stats increased by 10% max HP. Oh, and your other skills are things that like are already increasing your HP. So yeah, you're definitely gonna want to keep that. Did Iris have a thing? Okay, you don't there. So, let's see here. Counterattack damage increased by 25%. Who's going to go into the fray? Maybe, like, we haven't tried out using you yet, but you might be another dodge tank. Maybe. Is what things are kind of seeming like. Yeah, dodge 55. 57. Yeah, so maybe we'll give it to you for now, Maeve. Is what we'll do. Spicy meatball. Yeah, let's increase the counterattack damage. So half of mastery is added to accuracy. Who's gonna want that? So we can check this there. Okay, let's see here. Who doesn't have a thing? What's your mastery like? 16? 16. Who doesn't have a thing? Who might want it, huh? Okay, we may as well wind up giving you like a thing. A counterattack damage, huh? Wait, I already gave that. What am I thinking about right now? Half of mastery is added to accuracy. So maybe... What's your mastery like? 16? So I can't go back without like completely exiting the thing. That sucks. Sure, we'll do that. That's accuracy. Swaps those ones. Makes it much more likely to attack the holder. Yeah, so I'll leave those ones be. We still only have like the couple stat boosters and whatnot. We have a whole bunch of freaking random stuff here. I guess you don't get an eternal aspect right now, my guy. Here, take a spicy meatball. Voran tuber. It's probably good to like, you know, just have some stuff around, you know. Fill up to at least like the third slot. Let's see here. Sure, our more oysters. So what we can do, Lincoln can like... Sure, get a Voran tuber. So we can do... Here, you can get that too. Yeah, let's fill up to the third slot. Here, you can get a blood orange, sure. A spicy meatball. Enchanted bacon. Produced by Enchanted Farms and New Lice. Not actually magical. Well then. Well then, huh? Wait, grants 40% resistance to arcane. Oh yeah. Okay, I was confused about what the heck I was doing there for a hot second. Here, have a crab cake. How's that? And then, yeah, take these baked beans. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking there. All right, let's have a look at our upgrades and whatnot. So I feel like we're at the point where, okay, I've got like close to 16,000 gold. I feel like everybody should get at least something up to their, you know, level 2 kind of thing. So your speed is pretty darn good. So you may well be doubling Dudos. Like, if I didn't get confused about what good speed stats look like, yeah. Yeah, so I guess I literally can't go back without backing out of the menu completely. Like, that's our best speed stat by far. Let's see here. Your speed is pretty good. So you can probably double even with the trident, most likely. Wait, I freaking have not read as many of these as I should. Why stab someone once when you can stab them thrice? Javelin, no, you can't throw it. Volg, I don't know how it's pronounced. When doubting your aim, just get a bigger weapon. Spear, for the times when a more complicated weapon is simply too much. Well then. Disassembling your foes has never been easier. So let's see here. What's your speed like? Yeah, you're in freaking Strider, so you're gonna absolutely be, doubling some nerds, even with a longsword. Classic combat weapon, favored by those who prefer a powerful swing to a quick one. Saber, a small curved sword, excellent for striking weak points. Kodachi, some may laugh at the size of the blade, but will they continue doing so when they're impaled with it? Short sword, put Napoleon Complex to good use with this deadly blade. Welp. So how many more tier 1 tokens am I gonna need? But yeah, you have to have one of the High Elves be an MVP in a chapter to get the Have You Heard of the High Elves achievement? Interesting. So, I have a whole bunch of tier 2 things, freaking. Absolutely for Sia there. There we go, broadsword. Look at that. Look at that. Absolutely for Caius here. His freaking... He's gonna be so good at that, like... Oh, I guess Sia is freaking doubling mostly with the broadsword rather than anything else, so maybe I should have done that for that guy too. But I mean... Yeah, let's go for this here. Trishula, incredibly heavy spear originating from the Shattered Coast. Interesting. How many more freaking tier 1 thingamabobs am I gonna need? So they're upgraded to some spicy spices there. Is the thing. Could always upgrade Orima's thing. How many more tier 1s am I gonna need? The Piercers, Schneis. We could upgrade that Fireball. Is what we could do. I'm gonna upgrade it. One of the first spells that young mages learn has stayed popular for many years. I would really increase the weight there, jeez. Yeah, so we're gonna need 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't think I'm gonna be using Ford. But Iris and Monroe, maybe. So we're gonna go to the shop and go to weapon tokens. And 1, 2, 3, 4. I declare Thumb War. Like, we may as well be using some of these, some of this gold here at some point, but I mean... Let's see here, so upgrades. Upgrade. Let's see our new Dudos, so Monroe. Yeah, his speed is gonna... He's not gonna double nerds, so I'm not gonna bother trying. Not gonna bother trying to double some nerds, so we're just gonna go for Arcane Blast, methinks. But yeah, Fireball description is a D&D reference because Fireball's a meme due to how good it is. Gotcha. I've never played D&D before. Maybe the day will come. Maybe it'll be a thing to strim. What are you like? Yeah, you're not gonna be doubling people. Maybe I'll just upgrade your like regular thing then. In that case, your default kind of powerful thing. So I might well do. It's pretty heavy anyway. Yeah, we'll do that, I guess. Sure. There we go. There we go. I've got 2 more tier 2 tokens. Is the thing. Yeah, so they're all the way up to purple there. I haven't played either, but you like the beams. Gotcha. I mean, yeah, I kind of do like developing both of those. I don't mind. Who am I actually attacking with a whole bunch? There's Orima. This is what there is. Alden, this would freaking really increase the weight there, and then you might not be doubling as much. Speed is pretty alright. Yeah, that's probably enough upgrades there for now. I'm thinking that's probably going to be a good place to wrap up the stream because I've still got, like... I've got a couple recording sessions to hop into with some fellow YouTubers with Creators Collide stuff is planned for tonight. So I think that is going to be where I wrap up this stream. I've been going for close to a few hours now. We got some good progress. We're up to chapter 13. This game definitely seems like it can, you know, be really quick if you freaking bum rush it and on like easier modes, or it can last a while if you're freaking doing the stuff that I'm doing, is the impression that I'm getting here. But yeah, I am probably gonna wind up streaming something else later tonight, knowing me, but we shall see. Might continue with some more Fire Emblem Fates. We'll see. We'll see what's going on. But with that, thanks all who stopped by and hung out, and I'm gonna be heading out of here for now. So until next time, take care all, and see ya.